Port Harcourt. Welcome very much, sir, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Simeon, can you permit me to share my screen now?
You can go ahead.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. Please let me know when the screen is up. Yeah.
Yes, sir, the screen is up.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I want to first of all appreciate our dear section, the award-winning section, for this opportunity to share this knowledge with us. And I believe that these few minutes, I'll be focusing more on just highlighting the key things that we need to know. So my main focus is actually to have the individual questions, because when it comes to writing, as the section chair has pointed out, to some people, it might be that I've actually done this work, so is actually putting it together that is my problem. To some people, situating that work, which is key thing of what we are doing today. So we want to share the knowledge of how we can actually orient our writing through this problem approach. Because if the problem is not well situated, that's where you see somebody say, I wrote to SPE, I submitted my abstract is turned down. So what the technical team often do is to look at what problem are you solving? What is it situated on? So those key things are what we are going to be highlighted, and how we can do those things. Those are the focus for today. So I create your indulgence for the few minutes that we're going to be sharing slides then before we have the interaction. So our presentation outline here, we flow from the purpose of professional writing to types. Then we look at the distinct features of these individual types. Then we look at the key thing, which is the problem-oriented approach in writing. Then we look at selected ways in which you can identify these problems, because some people will ask you, so how do I see this problem if I'm not working in the field? If I'm not maybe practicing, how do I find this problem? Then also we are going to look at a practical example, and we look at what we call checking your writing. So that will be the concluding part of it. So the first thing we need to situate is the purpose of professional writing. So against everything you know or believe before now, it is only for one purpose, and that purpose is to convey information, convey idea, convey, what you feel that you want the next person to know about the work or what you're doing. So the key thing there is to convey information. Whether we are looking at it from any perspective, as we are going to be seeing in the types of writing, every end product of every professional writing is to convey information, findings, and so on and so forth. Even ideas, which we often see as we attend the NIEs for every year. So we say that the types of writing can be personal, it can be academic, then it can be professional. For professional, often we have templates for individual organization where we work. So we have a template, then you see people just following the templates to do the normal routine reporting. For personal, okay, it can also be dynamic, but the most technical aspect of it is the academic aspect. And why we are going this way is that both our professional members and student members, and even our senior colleagues, often most of them now are going for different degrees. And for you to actually have the end of your program, there is always a place for research. So the academic aspect of it is where we are going to be dwelling on. But these three are actually what we refer to as types of writing. Then one thing we have to look at is what is actually the distinct feature in these types of writing. So we say that we have two. And one or the first of them is the audience. So we first of all look at what is my audience. Am I writing this to my boss? Am I writing this to my supervisor, the team, the committee? Who am I addressing to? Is it general audience? So this audience also determines the tone at which we are going to do this reporting. So audience is one of the distinct features. And the second distinct feature is the purpose. What is the purpose of this writing? Why am I writing this? What's the objective? Why was this document written? And to do that, we have to look at different situations. We can have a situation-oriented where we see a need while we are addressing a need. It can be internal motivation. It can be for professional motivation. And it can also be for outcome-oriented, where you are set to get something accomplished. Then it can also be for assignment or for scholarly base. That's when you're talking about maybe you're pursuing a particular degree and you needed to get this done. So these are the preambles that we need to understand about writing. So the first of them is for us to communicate ideas, results, what we have as intent. Also, we need to understand that there are different types. So depending on the type, you have to also know that it has two distinct features, which is the audience and the purpose of writing. So that is the preambles and the foundation about it. So diving into what we have today, which is the problem-oriented approach in writing, we're going to now be looking at some of the fundamental principles that actually makes up what we refer to as what? Problem approach or problem-based approach in research. So that's where we're going to be dwelling today in. So without going further, let's look at three fundamental principles that we look at. First, we need to ask what we call significant questions that can be answered empirically. Second problem that we have is that you might have a problem that you are looking at, but the solution you're providing is not giving you an empirical value. Then the question now becomes, will every problem have an empirical value? For us, technically, yes. Even if it is a survey, even if it's a questionnaire, there is an empirical reporting to it, which we are going to be seeing at the end of the day, maybe during our interaction section. If I'm doing a survey or I'm carrying out a test, let's not go away from engineering and look at it from general perspective. It can be that the basis of my analysis is maybe on 1,000 questionnaires that I sent out. It will be good that when I'm reporting, I should give my report based on the number of questionnaires I set out and the answer. So I will have a percentage. I can say that from 80% of the 1,000 questionnaires that I sent out, they are in agreement that this hypothesis stands. That's for science people. So, because often we have that challenge with science people saying, must it always be empirical? So what we're saying, even when you're carrying out a test on patients, there's also an empirical aspect of it. So say that the formulation of a problem is often more essential than the solution. If you are able to situate the problem, then finding the solution is not a problem anymore, because it can either be mathematically or it can be experimental. Those are the two ways that we can go. So when you're talking about mathematical, it can be modeling, mathematical modeling. You can go ahead to now deal on AIs, which is one of the things that are trending now. So we say that for you to be able to do this very well, you have to have a creative imagination. So you should look beyond what you're seeing physically, but build what we refer to as a creative imagination, which is what part of the things we're going to be explaining during our question and answer section, so that we don't spend time on presentations. Next thing is linking this particular research or the problem to relevant theories, because those theories are actually what drives insight. Let's take, for instance, I'm looking at measurement wire drilling for a particular operation. I'm looking at issues of attenuation. It will come to my head that anything that has to do with attenuation and receiving back these data has to do with what? Waves. So the principle or the theory that I am required to base my work on will be on anything that has to do with what? Wave. So we look at issues of wave, then we use that particular theory now in addressing our research problem. So for every research that you're looking at, there are underlying theories or what we refer to as principles, as the case may be, that must be relevant to that research, and that gives you the insight to that problem and helps you to interpret the result that you're going to be getting as you go on. The third principle, which is the last one, talks about to select and apply research design and methods that permit direct investigation. So we say that for you to be able to do this, there are major elements you have to look at. First, the suitability of the proposed design or methodology that you want to do. So is it actually suitable for this kind of problem that I'm about to address? Then another thing is the rigor of the methodology. So the rigor that we mean there doesn't mean that it must be something you need to suffer. No, it means that there are procedures that you don't jump. The word rigor there doesn't mean you must climb a hill to get that, but the word rigor there means there is a step one that must be achieved before a step two. And when that step two is achieved, then you go to step three. So that's the word rigor in this context. So that's what I need us to understand. The third point under this fundamental is we're looking at linking this problem and the methodology. We say that the link, is it clear and justified? Okay, now I'm dealing with a particular problem and my data set is probably 50, 20, 30. Can I say that my methodology should be what? AI based? On that note, so if I'm to split that particular data into training and all this, so how many of it is my model not going to be biased? So you now see that using an AI approach for a research that you barely have 20 data points becomes an issue. So that means, yes, AI approach might be the trending thing, but for the problem that you are looking at, because of the limitation in your data points, might not be the what justified method for that. Then another thing is assumptions. So we look at the underlying assumptions and inference made. We say that, are they clearly stated? Are they justified? And mind you, in trying to develop some of the existing problem, maybe trying to move them to another level, these assumptions becomes one of the key things that we can lash on. Most of the researchers must have done some assumptions that are peculiar to the problem they are solving at that time, maybe by their region, by their own field, by the environment where their field is located. But if you are about to take that same research to another field, there might be need for you to tweak some of those assumptions. They must have assumed that maybe the environment does not have any effect. Probably they are drilling on a land rig. But we know that if you are drilling on offshore where we have high waves, then you see that the environment plays a part. So automatically that assumption that the environment does not have any effect on your operation cannot stand for you when you move that work from the land rig there to the offshore. And that's what we're saying. So we say the assumption has to be underlain. Then is it clear and is it justified? Then the next aspect of it is, how was the evidence or the finding judged what? Relevant. Based on what? There should be a principle at which we are setting that particular work to be done. So if you don't use those basic principles to situate those results back, because one thing is to get a result from the experimental point of view or the lab point of view, but another thing is now to take those particular results back to the society, because that's where it's going to be used. If not, then the work doesn't have any practical aspect. So you see that sometimes when you situate a very technical work, then we start looking at how do we bring it back to the immediate environment where we operate, because that is the key thing that is associated with such what? Result-oriented research. The next thing we look at is, how do we select these problems, or how do we identify it? Because that's the key thing that is in everyone's mind. So we say that for different categories of people, there are different ways that we can get that. We looked at a work by Lady and Amrod. They say that research problems are everywhere. That's what they say. And they say that the one way to look at it is look at your what? World around you. Then you ask yourself one question: where does my interest lie? Where does my interest lie? Because it's been said that often we have problems all around us, but if you don't have interest, you can actually pass through those problems without seeing them. But somebody else that have interest, we always pick those problems and work on them. So for an experienced researcher, we say that he can, by speaking to colleagues, attending, NICE conference and other conferences, he can be able to spot on some areas, green areas that need to be what? Further developed. Because the issue is that every research has its own endpoint. It's not open-ended. If not, you're not going to ever finish it. So what you do is that you derive what we call scope. So looking at your scope and your methodology, I can stand up and say, whoa, you stopped here, but I think I'm seeing something else. If we further consider this and this research is going to be what? Have a global what? Impact. And that becomes, from an experienced researcher, then the question now is, if I'm not an experienced researcher, how do I go about it? So we'll say that there are steps in which a novice researcher can use. A novice here doesn't mean that you are an undergraduate or or you are maybe a child. What we're saying is that research is not really something you do every day. Like SC said, she has done a lot of work, and there are so many people like that have done a whole lot of work. Then the next thing becomes, how do I put it in a technical format? So those are the things. I will say that for it to be accepted as a technical paper, then it must have that problem orientation thing. So the first step is looking and attempting to identify potential problems. So that's the first thing. The next place you can go is reading literatures and valid scholarly sources. Look at what we say identifying valid scholarly sources. So what it means is not every source or every material that we see online that we base on. Some of them doesn't follow through what we refer to as the rigor of reviews. Even up to our NICE conference, we have series of experts reviewing papers and saying, okay, we deem these ones to be accepted. But some of these sources don't go through that rigor. So what it means in essence is that it's not every scholarly source that is actually good for situating our work. The third step there is now synthesizing the literature. One thing is to read. Another thing is now to bring it now. So we say another word we use there is internalizing the body of literature. So you have to take it in, swallow it, and be able, and that's part of the things we're going to be doing practically. After reading, you should be able to highlight key things that you're seeing. Then with those key things you're seeing, now you now look at them based on the principle guiding it. Is this actually a problem? If this is a problem, how much impact does it have on the industry? And that becomes, then the next thing you do now is to now have a scholarly chat and look out for what we refer to as a feedback. So that becomes your fourth step. So the feedback from an expert can tell you, wow, yes, I think we have actually encountered such problem where we are, but I can't really place how we worked on it. Then for you, that is a signal that this is a ground that you need to trade on. So that's another way that you can go. And these interactions also you can have in NICE. Like the past NICE, there are green areas we were able to have one-on-one chat with the presenters after the presentation. So these are some of the opportunities that we can also harness here in SPE. So I try to put what I call a process. So first thing is you identifying the area of interest. You look, you read body of literature, then you synthesize, then look for feedback. Because the truth is that if you're seeing a problem from your own perspective, it might look very big. But actually having an interaction with an expert can let you know whether this is actually valid or not, so that you don't spend a whole lot of resources. So if you look at our chat, we say after the feedback, if that particular problem is worthy, then we go ahead and look at issues of proposal. If not, then you return back and start the process again. Yes, it looks very tedious, but it is better you situate this. It might take you 1 month to situate, but immediately you situate this, in less than 1 month, you must have gone far, even in your methodology and simulating your first result, as the case may be. Then looking at what we say now, looking at how to put up the first proposal, which is what we refer to as just a mini proposal, to have a chat with probably your supervisors or your technical advisor, then those are the parts that we're going to be looking at. We said that from the work of Kipling, he said that he has 6 honest 7 men. And he said that these guys are what, why, when, how, where, and who. So in the next slide, we'll be looking at how to use these men, these 6 honest men, in putting up a short proposal that will have every technical background that you might be looking at. First one, what? So we'll say that in no more than 2 sentences, what is the problem that this research will address? This is the first thing you do. And we say that, remember, problem is what is going wrong. That's a problem, not something that is actually looking for maybe an innovative way to improve it. If it doesn't have anything going on wrong with it, it might not be a problem to sit with. Then the next thing becomes who. And the who here tells you about what are the peer review references, that's literature, body of literature, that supports or describes this nature of problem. Then we look at how, where, and when. So with those also, you will describe the impact of this problem. So you can see that if you work with these 6 men, they will be able to give you some of the key things that you need to write down. And with writing this thing down, you're going to have a perfect proposal, a mini proposal that you can actually discuss and develop on. But in all of them, you see that we'll keep giving you, say, list current peer-reviewed literatures that support this. Current peer-reviewed literatures that support this. So let's look at the practical aspect of it. So one of the sources that we deem very reliable is Science Direct. So if you type in www.sciencedirect.com, it's going to give you an interface like this. So the key thing that you do is here that is circled in yellow, put in the keyword that you want to research on. If you want to research on, let's say, web-boy instability, just put in web-boy instability. Don't bother about the journal and the author. Just click on the search button. And immediately you click on the search button, you're going to get this interface. If you type in the keyword, then you click on the search button, then it gives you an interface this way. So what it's showing you is that after you click on a review at 450, it's telling you that 58,000 of the things that you need. Then another thing you need is in case that your school or your establishment doesn't have access to this, then you click on open access or open. On the open access and open archive, you can see that we have 65,000 to this keyword. So having selected that to review articles and open access, then it boils down to showing you the things that you can work with. So opening the first one, then you're going to have an interface like this. So the first work you do here is to read the abstract. The abstract is your first work. Immediately you read the abstract, and the abstract is able to give you some of the things that you're looking out for. Then what it means is that this is your what article that you need. So you cannot go further because it's not every article you see with that keyword lost circulation you read. Even in medicine, they have the keyword lost circulation. So you need to be careful in your selection. So immediately the abstract gives you what you want. Then the next thing you do is now to look inward into this work. First thing you look at, normally you will see a table like this that has a summary of what has been done for the past time. What this table has done for you is that he has been able to give you a summary of works that have been done in the past, let's say 10 to 15 years concerning this keyword. And you're seeing all this summary in one article. So this has saved you the stress of having to read all these articles that has happened in the past 10 years. So immediately another place you go to look out for is the summary and the conclusion part. From this work now, from the highlighted place, he said that accurate identifying of potential loss depths, evaluating severity of loss, and defining the type of formation causing this loss are essential elements for a successful loss circulation management. These have given me a key on the keywords that I'm going to watch out for and see have people been able to research in all these keywords. And if you come down here, you say generally, cross-linked polymers have high sealing efficiency. So what it means is that the trend so far has been on cross-linked polymers. Then you go to the conclusion aspect. Look at another thing he says. He said the successful to failure rate of loss circulation remediation and prevention techniques reported in field is highly dependent on the proper selection and prevention, contingency action, and early dictation. So I can wake up and say my work is now to develop an early dictation model, early dictation concept for loss circulation. And it's situated in this work. So this becomes, so we have as many examples as possible. This is another work again on loss circulation. Looking through it again, he has conclusion and recommendation. And you can spot on in these sections what are the way forward from what they have reviewed, because they have done the work for you by reviewing so many articles that has been done in the past. And with this, you will be able to do what? situate the problem that you want to solve, then you can now go ahead and look at methodology, because we say that the key thing is our ability to situate these problems as the case may be. So we have as many examples as possible that you can actually use. Some of these sections have what we call suggestion. They can suggest to you, say, in order to minimize these are issues of CO2 leak via wellbore severity, is suggestion for further research. So if you look here now, this one is giving you suggestions, straight suggestions for what? Further research. You say, one, emphasis, we should emphasize on effective detection and evaluation of CO2 leaks risk resulting from cement failure. So that means this is a problem. So we can actually look at this problem and be able to profile solutions on them. And this particular problem will give you the audience required when you want to publish this technical paper. So the last section we'll be looking at is what we call checking your writing. So we'll say that for you to check your writing, you're going to have this picture in your head. You're going to look at expressions, English, keywords, spelling, questions, where you talk about verb, matching the tense, and so on and so forth. So this is actually the kind of wave you're going to have in your head. But one of the ways to solve this problem is actually having a good tools. We have the Grammarly, we have a whole lot of them, the Quibbot, and so on and so forth. So they can actually help. And another way is if you have a friend that you respect so much. We know why we use that word, a friend you respect so much. Because imagine a friend that has not written any technical paper, but is good in English. And after you have finished writing your technical paper, you give it to him, and everywhere you see is red biro. So even you will get angry. You now see telling yourself, look at this one, he has not even written one, and he's busy condemning my own. So it must be a friend that you have high regard for, so that every contribution he or she is making will be something that you take in and you use it to develop yourself. So this is the end of our presentation. So I look forward to the interaction section where we are going to raise our individual questions for clarity. Thank you so much, and we wait for the next section. Over to you, sirs.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. And thank you as well for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. So a wonderful key takeaway from that presentation is that research problems are everywhere, and we just need to identify our interests and work on those research-worthy problems while using the 4 steps that I highlighted. I'm personally looking forward to visiting the of this presentation several times as I'm working on my research project as well. So just straight ahead, we will just move forward to the question and answer session. So please, if we have any questions for our presenter, please go ahead and drop it in the chat box with Q for questions. Or if you as well like to use the microphone, you can also raise your hand and we'll quickly communicate your question to our presenter and we can move on from there. Okay, I can see one hand up from Amar Chiku. So please, you can unmute and tell us your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful delivery. My question is the technical concerns that is associated with the use of AI generative application for researchers. Of course, these apps that has come to stay. What is the way forward? Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the key thing there is the data, and that's the major problem that most researchers have. If you don't have a good volume of data, AI is not your methodology. Because the truth is, it will be biased. It's just like you have only one child. You're going to love that child with everything in you. So there is no comparison. So automatically, immediately, you don't have enough data to work with. You now see that Whatever that model is going to give to you is only with a few data, so it's going to be so beautiful. That's what we're saying in essence. Is AI good or bad? It's very good, and is a good tool to use. What people are not looking at is when you look at the foundation where we come from in engineering, we want to see mathematical representations. And if you look at the AI now, we have the one we call the white box and the black box. So for the white box, it will be able to give you the linear relationship. So that mathematics you want to see, it will also give it to you, but often in a linear relationship. While the black box is still working on learning the trends, using what he has learned to repredict what you have done. So the truth about it is, as you said, he has come to stay. And the only thing that is happening now is people improving on it. Then another approach, which most of the researchers are failing to understand, you cannot just wake up and say, I want to use B colony. I want to use a particular algorithm. You need to understand the principle behind that algorithm. If you're working on something that has to do with pause, you will know that bees has holes in their distance. So B colony might be your algorithm. But what we notice that everybody can just wake up because he heard somebody use one particular algorithm. You wake up and you use it without understanding whether that principle is related to the problem or the methodology that you're proposing. So that's another angle to it, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello, am I still on?
Thank you, sir, for your response.
Okay, thank you. Hello. Hello.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I think I lost connection briefly. So our next question, somebody is asking for a brief recap on how to access Science Direct.
Okay. So the site is www.sciencedirect.com. That's the site. So when you get into the site, it shows you a keyword where you're going to type in whatever you need to do. Let me just quickly go back there so we can see it together in case other people are interested. So immediately you go to the site, this is what you're going to see. So you just come in here, then you type in your keyword. Then you click on the search button. So immediately you click on the search button, you're going to get an interface this way with your keyword and so many research under it. So I said that if you're not looking for methodology, what you're looking at is problem, then the key thing that you need to click on, you come to type of article types, click on review articles. Immediately you click on review articles, it's going to reduce this result of 400 and something thousand to 58, which now gives you close number to what you're looking for. Then if your institution doesn't have access to the whole articles in Science Direct, then you come down to access type and you click on open access. So immediately you click on that open access. Before you click on your search button, after you click on your search button, click on all these highlights and it will automatically reduce it to something that you can have access to and something you can use to do your work. So that's the way it works. So first of all, the article type, then the access type. After you have finished searching for your keyword, so you use those two filters to get what you want. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you once again. It's been a very educating session. Thank you for bringing your unique perspective and talking to us about problem-oriented approach to effective technical communication and scholarly writing. So to move on with the rest of our program, I would like to invite our PC for the presentation of certificates. Good evening, ma. Please confirm you can hear us.
think the PC is not on the call. Our SC can do that.
Okay, ma, please please unmute and handle the session. Thank you very much, ma. Welcome. Good evening, Madam SC. Please confirm you can hear us.
Maybe she's not close to her phone. You can call her. Let me check. We have a
Okay,
doctor.
sir. Yes.
We have Dr. Okereke on the call, so. Hello, Doc.
Hello,
Can you?
Mr. Simeon, please confirm you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello,
okay,
what's going on? Nobody's around.
We are here, ma.
Dr. Jude Unko, Captain J.
Yes, I mean network has just been failing us today. I think there is something not right, including myself. So I'd like to just to do this on behalf of the session chair. Thank you very much, Dr. Okoro. And Simeon, if you can move now. And on behalf of the session, we'd like to thank you specially for taking time to take us through this journey. And I'd like to add quickly before I finish that Dr. Okoro have also graciously, in conjunction with Dr. Adobe, this is me putting her a bit on the spot, and Dr. Okereke and myself, we will support any YP that is willing to come up with an abstract. And Dr. Okoro has accepted that he will take on 2 YPs that's ready to have an SPE paper, come up with an abstract. He would mentor you, he would coach you. And this is in addition to the full load of lecture he has given us today. I think he deserves a round of applause for such a commitment. Thank you very much, Doctor. YPs, the ball is now on your court. That your project topic, that your undergraduate research, that experience you had from industrial training that you've been looking forward to sharing. Please, this is an opportunity to have the best of review you can possibly get. Looking at the number of papers he has published in Elsevier, those are renowned journals, you can guarantee you'll get the best. Thank you very much, Doc, for that. On behalf of the session, we want to thank you specially and present this certificate to you for answering our call and giving us this dosage of how to report nicely and write a good technical paper. This will also be duly emailed to you from the Secretariat. Thank you very much once again. And a round of applause for him once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Back to you, Simeon and IT. Iter.
Thank you, sir, for that commitment. I can see our YP chair justice in the participant list, and I'm sure we'll be very happy to take that message back to our YP committee. Okay, so moving on with our program, we have come to our sponsorship page. And if anyone is interested in sharing a technical lecture and presentation with industry experts, the SP Port Harcourt section MTM is the place to go. At our MTMs, we have students, we have lecturers, we have professionals alike who come up with creative and futuristic ideas that beat your imaginations to solve great and challenging real-life problems facing the industry at large. So the MTMs are sponsored by companies like yours that are helping MTM to SP to maintain quality technical presentations as well as networking opportunities within ourselves. The sponsorship are open all year round and limited by monthly available slots. Now, what would SP MTN do for you as a sponsor? It will bring strong visibility and credibility among professionals. It will give you the opportunity to showcase your products and services. It will also help you to gain recommendation by word of mouth, advertisement, peer-to-peer, and it also give you the opportunity to sponsor other SP major events and programs. So this is a great opportunity for you to showcase and document as part of your CSR. So to get a sponsorship slot, kindly reach out to the number and the email address on the screen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think the next we'll just take our photo before we continue. So I'll just stop sharing.
All right, everyone, please turn on your camera so that we can capture this moment in our photography session. Mr. Simeon, please coordinate.
Okay, thank you. So let's turn on our camera as we take our pictures. There are some videos are still coming up. Okay, for those who have turned on our camera, let's put on a little smile while I take the capture. I can see you, Brother Stella. Yeah, that is a nice one. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Let's not even forget
Yeah.
that the 2023 best technical paper was won by someone from this session, and that's Madam Stella Obudu. I think it's something to note, and that shows that the next year, with having the likes of Dr. Kuro to mentor in this space, more technical paper success will even come back to our session. Thank you, Madam. I almost forgot that. That's a silverware we have in our locker. Back to you, Simeon.
Okay, you can continue. Ito.
Okay, thank you very much. I could see all of our smiles and our happy faces. All right, so moving on, we'll go on to our announcements where we'll first of all be congratulating the winners of our SPE monthly industry quiz. So we started this industry quiz this board year, and we've been having series of students, young professionals, and even senior professionals alike participating and winning our prizes weekly and monthly. So this month we have Ogo Patience winning 3rd place. We have Love Day Wisdom in 2nd place, and we have Edwin Joe in 1st place. So congratulations, guys, and the quiz team will be reaching out to you after this program for your prizes. So at this point, I would like to welcome the PC for the rest of the announcement if it's on the call. So Simeon, please confirm if it's back on the call.
No, I can't see him. I can't see him. So.
Okay, I can take it now.
Okay,
first, I want to congratulate Patience. This is the first time we're seeing a lady win, a female win, that to be among the winners. Babes, step up the game. We can't be allowing the guys continuing oppressing us. I hope next month, that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we will all be ladies. Really looking forward to that. So next week, you better be there. We are planning a special SPU week, and then it promises to be very engaging. And we have lots of events lined up from Monday to Sunday. Give it up for section 103. In fact, the team members are the best. So on Monday, we kick off with the opening ceremony, and it will come with keynote speeches from very senior members of the oil and gas space. And then we're going to have a panel section too. On Tuesday, we have a finance workshop. That is key. Remember that December is the end of the year. You have to start very, very strong in January. And what else should you be focusing on? It's how to manage your finances. Whatever money you have saved this year, you need to look for a way to invest that money, no matter how big or how small it is. And so please don't miss it for anything. Tuesday, 5th December, 5 p.m. It's going to be an online event. Register on time so that you'll pick up every single thing. Then we also have career guidance, because I know some of us will be looking forward to changing roles in, every new year we come up with new ideas, new places to work and stuff like that. So please come prepared. Then Wednesday, 6th December, if you can play football, just show up by 4:30 p.m. The senior members are all geared up and they are going to deal with the young professionals. Don't miss that game, because I'm going to be the goalkeeper and I know no ball will pass and get into the net. If you like, don't come. You have a lot to lose. Then our students, we have the Students Energy Conference happening Thursday and Friday. Several events are planned for those 2 days. On Saturday, we have the Work for Life and community service in the morning, and the grand finale is in the night, where we'll recognize people for what they have done for Section 103 in the past 1 year. So please, the venue is Kasoni. On Sunday, finally, we also want to have an opportunity of having time to spend time with our children. We're going to have a end of year party for street children. That's our way of giving back to the society. We'll have a lot of children who, might never have had an opportunity of attending a party. And so we actually want to use the opportunity of the SPE week to stay with them, play with them, have fun with them, give them an opportunity for them to know that there's still hope in this country. No matter what's happening now, it will get better. I definitely believe in the country. Yep. Next slide.
Okay, that is all, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So looking forward to everybody. Please don't come alone for any of these events. Come with minimum 3 persons, so that we'll be having minimum 38 times 3, 100 and something participants. The team is actually ready and they'll be there to take care of you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ma. Yes, we won't be coming alone. We'll be coming with at least 5 people. So thank you very much, everyone, for staying up to this point. We're about to round up, and I would like to invite Dr. Jude to take the closing remark.
This is just to wrap up. I see I've done the closing. Thank you very much once again, and this was on time, sharp, crispy, straight to the point.
Hello, Dr. Jude.
Yes, Daniel.
Good evening, sir. Yes. So just a minute, so we take our membership drive, and then take on the closing remark. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Okoro, for such profound presentation today. I guess with the opportunity that has been made available, a lot of our YPs would begin to turn in more papers during conferences and also on scholarly publications. Okay, so I'm speaking on behalf of the membership team. This is SPE, Society of Petroleum Engineers. Should this be your first time of joining any of our monthly technical meetings or any of our events, and it's a place for all professionals in the oil and gas or energy space, both in students and professionals alike. And this is, regardless of your course of study or your experience, we have people from engineering, law, policymakers, business, bankers who are members of SPE and would also want to have you become a member of SPE. Our membership benefits include, programs like this. So we have our monthly technical meetings every month. We also have conferences, and then you are able to build a strong industry network. Imagine being able to meet with Dr. Okoro or Dr. Jude or Madam Stella if you are aspiring to write a paper, during our SPE week that is forthcoming. So you're able to build that strong network. We have networking events and conferences. You're able to receive mentoring, just like the opportunity that was open today, and you have access to educational materials and resources on the SPE website. And also, if you're like young professionals who are actively in the service of volunteering, SPE provides that room for you to build your technical competence and non-technical skills. So we have our League of Volunteers, our ALPs, where you can also volunteer. And then we have resources from One Petro, JPT, journals, SP Connect, and the likes, all there to make sure that you gain as much technical competence as possible. Next slide. So currently at SP Port Harcourt, we are the second largest in Nigeria, with covering over 6 states, and 12 student chapters. We have a membership strength of 1,200 plus professionals and over 3,000 student members. And I'm sure you want to be, part of that organization. I like to say that there are two, professional organizations in the world, right? SPE and others. So it's either you're an SPE or you are not, in a professional body, right? So our membership registration for professional membership starts at 36,000 naira, and that's for your first year, and goes on to renew at 28,500 naira. For student membership, a student membership is free. So if you're a student member, do well to visit the link on the screen, or scan the barcode that is showing directly on your screen to fill out the form. If you're a professional member and you want to register for SP, kindly do the same. Scan the barcode or fill out the form by going to the link bit.ly/SPE in Caplox membership. We are looking forward to receiving, your forms duly filled as wanting to become members of SPE. Next slide, please. So yes, just to respond to your question quickly, Linda, SPE is not limited. SPE Port Harcourt is not limited to Port Harcourt residents only. We have, SPE Port Harcourt members who are, currently outside of Port Harcourt, right? So whether
No, just
you
to
are in
correct
South,
you. No, then to correct you, SP Port Harcourt covers all South and Southeast states, apart from Delta and
exactly.
Edo states. So as long as you are working or you live in any of those states that are in South and Southeast, which and without Edo and Delta, you actually can join SP Port Harcourt section.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam SC. Thank you for that. So you can also join the SPE African region, as we have the African region. So I think someone will reach out to you. Welcome for joining us for the first time, Linda. So someone would reach out to you. Someone from the membership team would reach out to you briefly, or you could send an email. And same thing goes for every other person on the call who would want to renew their membership or register for SPE. Can send an email to spephc@gmail.com with your inquiries, or spephc.events@gmail.com. You can also reach our membership chair, the Monday. Contact and email are displayed, or the membership co-chair, Imem Udo. her details are also displayed on the screen, so you could just quickly grab the screen and reach out to them. This is a cross-section of members during activities, ATSE, our YP Symposium. We have our Work for Life, which is also coming up. And these are various events we have. So we have both technical and non-technical events. You see, we workouts, we have social events as well, and we go out for charity. So SP is that place you get to be, whether you want the technical aspect and the non-technical aspect. We have a combination of all of that, and we look forward to seeing you join SPE and joining us in our next physical events. Thank you very much. Over to you, Itoro. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Daniel, for that membership report. So, Dr. Jude, please, you can go ahead and close us.
Yes, thanks a lot. Personal reflection on today. Fantastic presentation. Well, timely and straight to the point. We all, I've picked up a couple of learning on how to even search some of our keywords and focus in that. And of course, that fantastic gift that Dr. Okoro had given to us. And this is in collaboration with the Technical and Information Chair. So we need to do more of this, and we'll just find initiatives, because we've got scholarly people, Dr. Adobe, Dr. Okereke, people that are pure in academics who will help us, drive such initiatives, so that when we have conferences, not everybody might have the opportunity to have a technical team in the office that would review, through your bosses. So we'll do more of this going forward, just to ensure that our presence, we just don't go for naives for exhibition or just to contact people, but we also bring in, because you're known by what your knowledge base is. We bring in such technical presentations. We could start from small and then we grow, and that's why the opportunity for YPs. I'll really leave it for the YP chair, to give me those names. People that are very active, full duly registered members that have interesting topics to share. So come up with that, and we'll take it up from there. And then lastly, this is to also commend. We see someone join us from South Africa. That shows a lot on our communications. That shows a lot on how we reach out. And this is to commend the entire team, with the communication team and the entirety of what we share. Linda might have seen it from one of our posts, and we can see how the reach is. And little did we know she would join in and gain interest in the topic of today. So let's do more of that. Let's share on our pages. Let's comment and keep the traffic on our social medias with all our events. Madam Essie, at your permission, until we'll come your way next time. Maybe we might not have a December series. We're still thinking about that because of the holiday period. But you will hear that communication for us. Keep your technical umbrella alive. Keep your technical touchlights shining. Don't lose hold of that. That is the basis for everything. Your networking, you can gain access to that room. If you don't have your technical depth, you might not be able to come back to that room. So ensure you hold your side very strong in everything you do. And that's the goal and the mission for this office. Until we come your way, you could see how Itoro had championed this. We'll give more opportunities. You'll see less of me and more of other persons. So if you're interested to be part of what we do in the Technical Information Chair, reach out to myself, then we can talk about this. We'll give more opportunity for young people to sharpen their skills in this space. And that's how we build it, so that in my absence or any other person, this session can run on its own. Thank you very much, and have a good night rest. Bye for now. Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Good night, Essie. Thank you. On the slide question, I'll check with Dr. Okereke, and at his permission, we'll make it available to the Secretariat. I'm sure Simeon will only send it to duly registered members, just to ensure that we drive